Worth.
Here.
Director of Community Outreach.
Here.
Senator Self.
Here.
Senator Fees.
Here.
Senator DeHaab. Senator Hyde is not here. Our advisor. CFB. Wildcat Media. Web. Wildcat Esports. No SAC rep. And no Res Life rep. And Chief Justice Tabor is not here. Apologies excused. Going on to the approval minutes of September 15th, 2022. Do we have any discussion? Our president.
I'd like to entertain a motion to add to the agenda in front of new business resolution 2122-03. Yep.
Okay. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Self. Yes. Going on from there, do we have any discussion on adding resolution 222303? Our president.
I misspoke. It was 2223. I think I said 2120.
I did correct it.
So. All right, thank you.
Senator Hyde. Going on from there, do we have any discussion for adding the resolution 2223-03? It should be sent out to an email for all people in the horseshoe. Seeing no further discussion, for all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those against, and all those who abstain. With that, resolution 2223-03 will be read at the end of new business. Going back on a discussion of September 15th, 2022. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, does anyone oppose unanimous consent to the minutes? Seeing none, that passes 4-0-0. We have no announcements, no guest speakers. On to exec reports. Our president.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I had the amazing opportunity last weekend to go to the Suny Student Assembly Conference. I was able to learn a lot about professionalism and leadership, and it was a really cool event. I was able to connect with President Chun, Vice President Casey, Treasurer Longuile, and Secretary Zoha, and it was just a fun event. I met a lot of people, including the parliamentarian. I also, just a couple of days ago, have met with multiple different offices to work on a project that the e-board and Director Nolan have been working on. I'll release a little bit more information once I know exactly what that project is going to entail for us to do. And then lastly, yesterday I met with facilities and answered some of the concerns that were on campus. So one of the ones that we talked about was the new bridge. So we did discuss the possibility of painting the bridge. He mentioned that that's not going to be a possibility because the paint that's on it right now is a weatherproof paint, and then if we were to paint it over, it would just chip pretty much instantly. He did mention, though, that they plan on discussing putting decals on the floor, whether it's like a blue decal or it's just the word Suny Poly at each end, and then maybe like a logo in the middle or something like that. But he wants to work with students to kind of see what they want to see on that bridge. There is a issue brought up about the signs not being up to date, including Hilltop and obviously the new bridge. That is on their list, but it's not a huge priority right now, just because they have to bring in vendors, and those vendors have to make those, and then they have to put those up, but they will be coming in the near future. There is an issue about the facilities drivers driving on campus. He did mention that there was a driver that has been causing some issues with driving safety, and he said he is having talks with that individual, and there are repercussions coming their way. And he mentioned that he's going to talk to the entire facilities team just to reinforce the driving rules, and obviously that we're on a campus, so those should be followed to the T. The next issue that was brought up to me was the temperature in different rooms in different buildings. So you mentioned that the chillers work with outside temperature. So if the outside temperature is 60, they're not going to kick on even if it's 70, 80 inside. He also mentioned that they've been bringing in more outside air to vent for COVID. So even if it's not humid outside, it's going to come through vents and get more humidity. I'm definitely not understanding what he said by then, but I know they're getting more outside air instead of just air conditioning. And then the last problem was the ramps and ADA crosswalks on the sidewalks. He mentioned that by law, anything that's over an inch, the bumps for the ramps have to be fixed. So he's gonna relook at all of those ramps and make sure that they're not over an inch. We also mentioned the non-visible like sidewalk areas, so those bumps that you see at the end. He mentioned that he's going to look around and see where he can put in those and more crosswalks. Thanks for listening to me. I'll yield.
On to the VP report. Hi all, hope you're all doing well today. Regarding the election, I'll be announcing information during open forum, so overall it's going to be a short report today. So at this meeting, the Executive Board has interviewed a candidate for the Factory Times Publication Director role. And as you saw during the minutes, we'd like to bring them to the table. So when this resolution does come up, please feel free to ask the candidates any questions that are related to such a role. So with that, I yield on to the Treasurer.
No report.
On to our Secretary.
No report.
On to our Director of Public Relations.
My name is Zach, and I'm going to be your Director of PR, and I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks I figure out how to do my job and learn more about you. I yield.
And on to our Director of Community Outreach.
Hello, everyone. I hope you had a great week. Moving forward, I've begun working on the potential project, as mentioned by our lovely president, Mr. President Fish. I also hope to begin a new public project, or public community service project, for this month. Moving forward, if any clubs or organizations are in need of community service hours, let me know, because I have plenty of opportunities with that regarding cooking and serving food. And also, if anyone needs a place for monetary donations, people in Utica can always use sleeping bags or sleeping mats. Thank you, and have a lovely weekend.
Going on to our advisor.
No report.
Continuing on to org reports. Webb.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to report the Web has had an overly successful week. We've had so many people show up for aquariums and luminaries that we ended up having to turn people away at the door when we ran out of supplies. This has been the same for goat yoga, as after the signups had gone out, only 3 hours until the entire sign-up sheet was filled and we had to stop accepting slots. This has blindsided us quite a bit, since one-off weekly events had rarely achieved this volume in the past. In response, we will be happily making sure to prepare accordingly for the increased number of attendance for future events. Thank you.
On to CFB.
All clubs activated, all clubs are funded. Today's a good day.
Wildcat Media.
The Wildcat Media Executive Position Interest Form is live until September 28th. If you have any interest in Wildcat Media and would like to be an executive, please fill out the form.
And Wildcat Esports.
No report. Go Wildcats. I yield.
Following that, we'll be continuing on to new business. Bill 2223-04, Senator DeHaab.
22304.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Self.
We, the members, student government at Utica Suny Poly, as presented in the Senate, do enact as follow. The purpose of this bill is to temporarily combine technology committees and academic affairs committees together.
Do we have any discussion for the bill? Senator Self.
I'll say this worked very well last year, as I had taken up the chair in that last half of the semester of last year, having academic affairs and tech together kind of dueled with each other perfectly. Some days academic affairs there wasn't anything to really cover there. Technology, that kind of is every week you cover finding updates and it works. They just coexist real well together. I yield.
Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a bill, so we will not be voting on it today. Going on to Bill 2223-05, Senator Fees.
Motion to accept Bill number 2223-05, DEI and Wellness Committee.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Self.
Sorry, my computer's lagging out. Okay, there we go. The members of the student government at Utica of Suny Poly do hereby enact as follows. The purpose of this bill is to temporarily combine DEI and Wellness Committee together. I yield.
Do we have any discussion? Pro Tem Fees.
Alrighty, so I ran student wellness last year, and when DEI committee was stalled because we didn't have a director for that, we often took on certain elements of DEI to sort of fill in where we didn't have that. And I think for the most part that worked fairly well. I think combining these of course will be a challenge because now it'll become whoever the head of this is responsibility, and I can see where that can become overwhelming. But I think these two would work very well together, especially since I liked that one bullet where it says that every other month there shall be a DEI event, and then the other month shall be a student wellness event. I think that creates a great balance. I guess my only question would be, so as I was looking through the policies and procedures for this, I did notice that we have a DEI coordinator who often takes on the anything that the DEI had, director of DEI would basically give him work for, I guess, coordinating events. So I guess my question would be for this, if we do have a director of DEI and a coordinator, what would then be the job of the coordinator, since, I feel like the wellness chair and the DEI chair would kind of fill in that portion of that job. I yield to our president.
So the DEI coordinator and then the DEI director would work together similarly to the director of PR, where they'd work together and find solutions to DEI matters within the orgs and SGU itself. So for example, Pro Tem Fees, I know you're working on a easier to read policies and procedures, so they both would work on that together with you, and it would be like a team effort. I yield.
Do we have any further discussion for the bill? Seeing with that, that concludes the business for that bill. Going on to Bill 2223-06. Senator Self.
Motion to accept Senate Bill number 2223-06.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Fees.
We, the members of the student government at Utica of Suny Poly, as represented in the Senate, do enact as follows. The purpose of this bill is to amend Article 12, Section 12.4.0, to add the Chief Justice to the agenda after the Chief of Staff and before the Director reports. I yield.
Do we have any discussion? Senator Fees.
Given that we have a Chief Justice and they have things to report, it would make sense to add them onto the agenda so they can give a report. I would feel bad if they had things to report that are important and they would have to do it during open forum. So this makes sense. That's all I'm going to say.
Do we have any further discussion? Senator Self.
Under the methods, under the exec reports, I noticed secretary got skipped here. Is that going to just fall under House rules, or is that just an accidental miss? Bill?
Our president.
So actually, while we're here, I'll entertain the motion to change the purpose, the second bullet, to the purpose of this bill is to add the Chief Justice to the agenda after the Chief of Staff and before Director reports. And then I'd like to make another bullet to say the purpose of this bill is to add the Secretary to the report under Treasurer and before Chief of Staff. I yield.
So moved by Senator Fees, seconded by Senator Self. Do we have any discussion for the motion? Seeing none, we'll be going on to voting. Does anyone oppose unanimous consent to the motion? Seeing none, that passes 4-0-0. Continuing on to discussion of Bill 2223-06. Seeing none, we'll be going on to Resolution 2223-03. Senator Fees.
Motion to accept Senate Resolution number 2223-03.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Self.
We, the Senate of Suny Poly Student Government at Utica, do hereby resolve. The purpose of this resolution is to confirm Mohit Sharma as the TFT Publication Director of Student Government, whereas the Executive Board has nominated Mohit Sharma to fill the TFT Publication Director position within the Student Government at Utica, and therefore be it enacted. The Student Government at Utica Senate considers and confirms the nomination of Mohit Sharma as the TFT Publication Director, and therefore be it resolved. Be it resolved, contractual obligations pertaining to the TFT Publication Director position shall begin at the conclusion of the Senate meeting in which the resolution is adopted, and be it finally resolved, the Senate of the Student Government at Utica will have an additional member to represent the students of Suny Poly. I yield.
Do we have any discussion before we begin?
Never mind.
Seeing none, if the candidate would please like to stand up to the microphone.
How you guys doing?
All right.
Great.
And if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mohit Sharma. I'm a junior and electrical engineering major. I heard about this position and I did a lot of research, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm one of the good fits. And I talked to President and Vice President this afternoon regarding, it was a kind of an interview, but more like, they were trying to see how am I, and then I'm very nervous right now. So that's all.
All right. If we would like any questions for our candidates. Senator Fees.
Alrighty, first off, I would like to congratulate you on this nomination. This is a really big deal, and I would like to thank you for having the courage to come up and speak to us and let us ask you questions. So I guess to begin, my first question to you would be, what is your, experience with the factory times, and what is your experience with writing and publication? I yield to our audience.
Okay, so I do not have any experience with the factory times, okay, but I do have a lot of experience in managing my team in writing publications, because I used to do that for my high school back in India, right, in my 9th grade, I would say. So I was trying to help everyone with everything, and the main thing that I think about myself is like I have the courage, I have the capability to like make a bond with everyone and then bring everyone together, and just unless it's like in the ethics of the school in the university. So like that's how we go, and then just make everyone. Just let them be themselves, don't bother them or something like that. So it has given me a really good result in the past. So I'm just trying to bring that up and then go forward with it.
All right. Do we have any further questions? Wildcat Media.
See the factory times at the end of the year.
Okay, that's a good question, and that's what I also mentioned to our vice president and the president, that it just goes when we go with the flow. It's just something that we decide right away. But like I always have an idea and a perspective in my mind that makes a difference to the person's outcome. So if they have something which is like 100%, I have a capability to make it look at least 150% of that what they have. And so I cannot say what exactly is it going to be, because I just did my research like last week. I went through all the magazines before even coming in, before the interview. So I kind of know what the standards are, and I'm trying to raise it for sure. But like I cannot say exactly what can I do or like what exactly unless I'm actually into it. But I can promise myself, like, I've seen those results in the past for my soccer team, for my robotics team or anything like that, and obviously the publication team in my high school. So that's all my experience thingy. Yeah.
Do we have any further questions? Senator Self.
I know you've probably seen this with teams in the past, but how would you handle if a dispute between people occurs and they want you to come be the critical mind who's correct? How would you handle a situation like that? I yield to our.
Sure. I am a very straightforward person, okay? I really like to talk to them straight away, like what exactly is going on, what's bothering them. I'm very, as I said, I've developed a bond that I actually like to the person would actually like to talk to me instead of going to anyone else. I have that capability, or you could say that's my personality, right? And I talk to each of them, or the group, or whoever it is, on personal level, and then I find my own gray area, not black and white. Find my own gray area, and I'm like, okay, on the table, 3 of us, let's see where we go. Like, what's going on, and then we can just talk about it. Like, I'm very straightforward. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you cannot do this, or you can do that, and on your back, I'm like, nah, you can't. Like, so I'm like, just go forward with it. I'm literally the same person on your face and on your back as well. So that just makes me a little bit over everyone else. That's my personality, so I can't really control it.
Do we have any further questions? Senator Fees.
5 years from now, how would you like people to remember you? What would you want your legacy to be in this position?
Okay, 100% for sure gonna be someone who's always there for them. Okay, I always work towards developing other people. I know it's just comes in from within, right? It's just help everyone to accomplish something. It could be a smaller thing, it could be a bigger thing, depends on their goals. Those two are gonna be the most important ones, and pretty much it. Like I just work for other people. It just makes me happy. Just makes you feel more alive, I would say.
Do we have any further questions for our candidates? Our president.
Or entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved by Senator Self. Do we have a second? Senator Hyde? All right, going on to voting. So, all those in favor of executive session? All those who oppose? And all those who abstain? With that, executive session passes 4-0-0. For what that means is, except all members of the Horseshoe, please, you just have to step out of the room temporarily. This is just to discuss among voting members and org heads and executives. All right. So, as we have concluded business of Resolution 22-2303, congratulations, Mohit. It has passed 4-0-0. You should be receiving an email either later today or tomorrow regarding contract information and also setting up training. So,
sounds good.
You may now please take a seat.
Sure.
Thank you. And then, as that concludes all business, we'll be going on to open forum. I'll be starting off open forum with information regarding the election. So, following this week, sad to announce, but we have yet to hit 10% of the student body, meaning this election will continue on until September 29th. This means election requirements regarding polling and referrals for all stipended members will be going up. The total amount of referrals needed will be 15 referrals or 3 hours of polling. If you are confused about referrals, please contact me for reference, as you may not know your number, but I will get back with you if you are confused on what you're at. Also, information regarding the update will be sent out with an email to all stipended members and current candidates sometime around later today. So, for the candidates today, apologies, but next week I will give an estimate. It seems like if we keep doing well, we'll hit it next week. So, aside from that, I yield to the president.
So to build off of that, I just kind of did a quick count. If everybody asked 10 people here and all 10 of those people voted, we'd probably hit the mark. So ask about 15. So then if 5 people lie to you and say they already voted, you're still hitting that 5. So classes, bowling, which is tonight, other web events, and I'm also going to kindly ask if CFB and Wildcat Esports could, and web, sorry, could put that out during events, during your CFB meetings, and if you could put it out in the Wildcat Esports Discord, that'd be great, and probably would also help. I yield.
Do we have any further discussion? Our secretary.
Okay, so quick thing I just wanted to add, we are hosting a blood drive on campus as well. It'll be October 12th. There are spots available from 11:30 to 4 all day. So come donate. It'd be great. If you're interested for more information, contact me at wadswobe@sunypoly.edu. Thank you.
Do we have any further information? Yes. Senator Fees.
Alrighty. First of all, I'm gonna say what I said last week. Anybody watching this, anybody in the audience, if you haven't voted, please vote. You know, if you want to see change on campus, your senator's gonna do that. So please vote. I'm begging, please. We appreciate your input. And second of all, I would like to speak for me in the Senate to welcome with welcome with open arms our new publication director and congratulate him just from the Senate of the Senate. We really appreciate your time filling out the application, coming to 2 different interviews, and just being totally nerve-wracked through this whole thing. So we would like to welcome you with open arms and welcome to the SGU family. I yield.
Our president.
So for this part of the open forum, I'd like to be recognized as just Jay Fish. So a couple of quick things. I'm going to speak from SUNY SA standpoint. So I will be one of the doctoral granting institution undergraduate representatives. Your school is one of those campuses that I may be representing. However, I have to talk to the vice president to see. However, I just wanted to start the ball rolling to introduce myself and to say that if you have any questions about SUNY SA, that you can always ask me, or if you don't feel comfortable for asking me due to conflict reasons, because I'm also the president, I can get you in contact with another representative. But just as a quick update, on October 23rd, there will be a SUNY SA business meeting on Zoom. It's open to all students. They'll be submitting some resolutions for cabinet appointments and stipend allocations. And then tentatively on November 18th, 19th, and 20th will be the SUNY SA conference. Again, that's tentatively. I will come back to your campus with a better report on those dates once they're solidified. I yield.
All right. Do we have any further information? Senator Self.
Tradition stand. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is courage to continue that counts, by Winston Churchill. I yield.
And Wildcat Esports.
Sorry. FragFest is officially in the plans. We've been planning for FragFest since May 2022. This semester's FragFest will be from November 4th through November 6th. As tradition stands, it will be a bring your own computer event. However, if you do not have a powerful enough computer or you don't have a computer at all to play in our tournaments, we will be having computers sponsored by Alienware for FragFest this semester. So come on, November 4th through November 6th in the Student Center NPR. I yield.
And do we have any further discussion? Seeing as with that, I believe we don't have any swear-ins for today. Oh, apologies. Yes, we do have the confirmation. So, Mohit, if you please stand in the center of the horseshoe, this will be your swearing. And Angelica, apologies.
So you'll stand in the circle and just get sworn. All right. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name, will faithfully uphold the student government at Utica Constitution and carry out the duties of. State your organization and position. To the best of my ability, and will represent the students of SUNY Poly in a fair and unbiased manner. Congratulations, just come up and sign your...
All right. Concluding that, do we have a motion to adjourn? Senator Fees. Do we have a second? Senator Self. Does anyone oppose unanimous consent to adjournment? Seeing none, that passes 4-0-0. We are concluded at 1:06.